Is this a knife channel? No. Am I known for my vast knowledge of knives and affinity for the finest steels? No. Do I have a pretty cool knife to show you? Yeah. Coming up next on GB Guns. So I get approached, emailed, called from multiple companies every week with all kinds of stuff. Most of it I ignore if it's not completely relevant to the audience or to my personal needs. Forseti Steel wanted to send a knife, and I said, those knives look really cool. Unfortunately, I'm not a knife guy. I don't even know a good knife from a bad knife, other than does it cut. That's basically all I care about. And they said, we appreciate your honesty. And I said, well, my people, I watch handgun stuff. Anytime I try to do rifle stuff or shotgun stuff, those videos don't do well. Knives, that's a big risk. And they said, well, we want to send one anyways. Take a look at it. And I thought this thing was so cool, I bought my dad one for Father's Day recently. So here it is from Forseti Steel. These are very nicely packaged. But what sets it apart, just real quick and to the point, is that it's real Damascus, which is pretty cool. If you're not familiar with Damascus, it's layered steel. What you're seeing there are little tiny layers. I've seen knives in the past where that is a laser engraving and whatnot. This is actual layering, which I think is really neat, and this beautiful wood. These are very classic looking knives, and you saw how easily that opened for me. Now, do I know a whole lot about knives? As I said, no, I'm not super smart on these things. I just like one to work for me, to open packages, to cut things. This feels rather sharp out of the box, and it's just a handsome looking knife, which is something I appreciate. Underneath the packaging here, as you notice, this does not have a clip. Most of the knives that I've used have been clipped knives. Got a classic leather belt holster, which is pretty good looking. Feels, well, maybe I'm a little spoiled from having been to Falco. It's definitely not Falco leather, but it's decent leather, and I bet Falco could make a nice holster for this. But just as a kind of handsome everyday use knife, I think it's a cool piece, so I accepted it and wanted to show it to you guys. I'll be using this around the house and my daily tasks. I'm not a on-the-hip knife holster kind of guy. It's just not my lifestyle, but I'm sure it is for many of you. And they have many different models, fixed and folding. They even do kitchen knives, all with this gorgeous Damascus. Company is based out of Utah. The manufacturing is not all Utah, but it's not China either, which I think is pretty cool. That was one of the things I asked him about it, because the prices on these aren't too insane. If you want to take a look, I'll put a link. I think I can link those on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description, and you'll probably see this when appropriate, mixed into kind of lifestyle photography, things like that, as I use it. If I have any major noteworthy experiences with it, I'll come back and be updating this video at the time. But keep in mind, I'm not a big knife guy other than basic use. I'm not knocking or challenging the people that are into knives, and I'm sure some of you are and can already spot some things or have some commentary. If you do, please let us know and help educate the rest of us. But I just thought this was a nice looking knife. My dad is into old Ford Model A's and rides around in one with club members on club events, and I got him one that's like this, that has some brass caps on the end of the wood and just looks really classy and look like something kind of Model A-ish with that refinement of the Damascus. So cool piece. I mean, if you're like me and you're a casual knife user and knife enjoyer, why not have something that's kind of nice and maybe discussion piece worthy? To be honest, I misplace knives just as often as I use them. I've had many knives over the years. Not too proud of that aspect, but that's also where I think it's cool that this is definitely a step above a budget knife, but it's also not some $400 crazy thing that, you know, I'm going to cry about purchasing or wish that I'd spent the money on something else. I'm sure there is some specific maintenance that you want to keep in mind with the Damascus. Let's see if I zoom instead of bringing up. You guys get a better feel for it there. Since those are individual layers, and I'm sure that adds some challenge to the sharpening process. I don't know. I'm curious to hear from you guys. I've only seen and experienced the fake Damascus in the past, never the real, because it's been my understanding that this construction style is complicated, and you can see on the edge of the blade there, the sharpened part, that those lines continue. This isn't fake. Pretty cool thing. Just wanted to share it with you guys, and this second channel being sort of, you know, a little more personable, a little deeper dives on some of the guns, and also where I give some of my thoughts and feelings. I've accepted this knife. Yes, it was sent by Forseti, and wanted to share it with you guys. Thanks for watching.
Thank you to our Patreon supporters. And I do to level. Derek S. Jr., Joseph T., Algie Peter A., Tom Sky King, Brian P. Moises S. Fast Eddie, Salo 215, Marvin T., David S. Donald H., Jenna I. Greg K. ERB2, Christopher J., David P., Andrew B., Gord Lee H., J.S. Foreign N., Gryphons Michael W., David G., Robert B., Ohio Cruffler, Briscoe County Jr., Brett Skywaha, Edward Seed, Alan B., Fierce Salmon, Insects Tattoo, Johnny, Uncle Munzie, Mrs. Doodle Punk, Mount Stewart, E. Justin H. Summer G. Sheepin' things off its level. Gary B. Brad M. George H. Daniel D. Neil M. Gort, Adrian H. Mark S. Edit P. Gary C. J. E. Logan G. RBMD's 1E22A Gil B. Ron Z. Mike, NC Technocom, half empty. Ronald W. Russ P. GPC 1986. Robert C. Michael L. Edward P.